You're listening to the Roma Miclat podcast. Welcome back to the show,
so
DANICA CREMONA. Yes, we're calling her with her full name. Hi, Dani.
Hi, girls. How are you doing?
Doing great.
We're so excited to have you again.
Yes.
And I'm really happy to be here.
I'm very excited with today's episode. Excited and scared because this is a realization of what really happened with our 2020. Because today we will talk about how are your 2020 plans? Because when we started the year, of course, probably you come up with your plans. But now, because of the pandemic and all, I want to ask you, how are your plans going so far, girls? Let's start with our guest, Dandi. Can you do the honor?
Okay. So I tend to get quite realistic about my plans. So I had actually planned the first half year of how I wanted it to happen. The main event that was supposed to happen was my wedding.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah, that was
Okay, can you tell us
happen.
more?
Yeah. So it was supposed to happen in May, beginning of May, and it was actually about 2 weeks before the lockdown. I was actually in Malta with my partner, signing up the papers and everything, saying, yes, we're ready to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you in 2 months, And then the lockdown happened, and I was receiving a lot of messages and my family and people asking me, hey, is the wedding still happening? Because there were people who had to get flights, And eventually we decided to move the wedding. We actually moved it to October. But after a while, when we were noticing that the airports are going to open very late, we thought, okay, maybe we should move it again, postpone it again. And so basically, before the wedding, you need to go to Malta again. We had to go to Malta again to do the paperwork. So that's about 3 months before. And the airports, they had just opened in July. And it was still new. People were still, a bit scared. And we were those kind of people. We didn't want to get mixed with those kind of people again. So, yeah, we postponed it again till next year.
And there are actually, it's more, what do you call this? There are a lot of procedures that you have to go through because, again, everything has changed and flying is not, it's tedious before and more tedious now because of the, the protocols and all. But I want to know, Danica, what is going on your mind when, it's already May or...
Yeah, it actually started... so in France, it started on the 14th of March. And then in Switzerland, it started on the 17th of March. So for me, in order to go to Malta, I had to get the flight from Zurich in Switzerland. So I had to cross the border.
Yes.
So that was already worrying because they had already closed the borders and I had to show a valid reason why I need to cross the border to Switzerland. So that was already getting complicated to prove yourself why you need to cross the border. So yeah, it was becoming too hectic and we wanted the people there for our wedding, not being scared. We want everyone to just enjoy it, and hopefully by next year the measures will either be reduced or in place that it's acceptable for most of the people and the guests.
But what's going on your mind when you were having... I don't think she's the bridezilla type, like, oh my God, everywhere, it's okay.
No, not at
She
all.
isn't.
No,
she's a bridechilla. No,
Ooh.
yeah, she's a bridechilla, not a bridezilla.
I always wanted to have a small wedding with my favorite people. So I didn't want it to be that I will spend most of my wedding just go around guests and barely have time to eat. I was telling them I want to eat in my own wedding. So that's going to happen. Even if I have to do extra pockets in my dress with some snacks. But
I love
yeah, I
that
was really
idea.
not stressed, and everything worked out well with the venue, the photographers, the wedding dress. Everything was perfect, and everything is still the way I want it. So I just have to make sure that I'm still the right size.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are.
You definitely will be. Or you might have to size down. Who knows?
Yeah.
With the way you've been working.
It's not the point of the wedding because I mean I've been with my partner for a very long time, so we just shrugged. It's like, nah, okay, you know. I think it's more the fact that I wanted that kind of stress to be done with, you know, so that I won't have to think about it, not to, because we have to get the flight as well and going here and there for the makeup, the hairdresser, you know. But I'm quite
You're
positive
okay.
and relaxed. Yeah, it will happen, so there's no rush.
Wow. That's a very nice mindset. Wow.
Yeah. She's
Good for
cool.
you. I mean, not good for you that it didn't happen, but I mean
Yeah,
the attitude towards what's happening with you. Because, well, I think right now a lot of a lot of gatherings are being rescheduled because of what's happening. But yeah, let's hope that next year it will happen.
yeah, yeah. We have that attitude. I mean, me and my partner, like we've been together almost 9 years, so we're doomed anyways, married or not.
I like that term. We're doomed anyways. But what about like professionally? Do you have any plans like that you laid down and wrote it maybe for 2020? That is it happening or is it postponed
For
also?
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the beginning of this year, my aim was that I will get more slots in gyms permanently, so that I will gain more exposure, get to know more people, create communities, and I was heading towards the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I had that thought in my mind: is this what I really want? You
Mm-hmm.
know. And then the lockdown happened, so all the gyms and fitness studios, they had to close, and then I switched to virtual classes, and that is something that I've never done before, that I'll be live doing my class, working out, and also I have to last because it's a virtual, so I can't cue my students and go around and fix their posture. I had to be there as an example all the time for the viewers. So that was for sure a hard task.
Mm-hmm. And
But
it's
it's
something that you're
really,
not used to doing.
exactly. But it really helped me to gain confidence and come out of my shell, for sure.
I think all of us, like we had to establish a virtual presence, right? Online presence. That is what 2020 is all about. What about you, Patricia?
Same. Major nodding with Dandi because I honestly wanted to be big, like in person, and I wanted to kind of saturate the Imphal market, that is the city, this little city that I'm in. And I wanted this Pilates to be kind of like known by everyone over here. And that was one of my professional goals, which was thrown out of the window to the wall. Okay,
To the
sorry.
wall! To the wall!
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm just like, I was so bummed the first half of the year, and then I realized that that's not going to happen. Also because I was so upset that I couldn't celebrate my 1 year Broken Barriers anniversary, which was in July. I think we spoke about this also in one of the older episodes. And I honestly, the biggest goal that I had for the year was to have more collaborations with other people within this city. So everything was for a physical platform. And suddenly this pandemic happens, and I had to do the virtual thing. And I was like, okay, where do we start? How do we do this? The worst part was all of my members, like didn't want to do the online thing. They're like, I don't have space. I don't have the mood for it. I don't want to do it online. I just want us to meet in person. I want the good old times.
Mm-hmm.
And literally had to start from scratch again. So I think that was the hardest part for me. And everyone in my studio, we like to have these fitness parties. You know, I think you guys have seen it on my stories, and I post the dances that we do. And that is one of the things that I'm sad about, that I'm not able to have these dance parties. I tried to like, even this morning, you know, I was like, it's Friday, let's dance. And my online clients were like, nope, I'm just going to switch off my camera. Okay, you can't see me.
Oh my God.
It's a struggle, you guys.
It's like, come on, guys. It's Friday. They know.
I know.
Shut up.
They just
too early,
switched off their
Patricia. Too early. Too much energy.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my. What about personal? Because you shared to us your professional goals. What about personal? Like personal improvement, personal development? I don't know.
Definitely. I had like a couple of personal goals. I wanted to, become a leader in my personal spaces, have areas, because I'm like the oldest kid in both of my, families, parents' side, and I mean, dad's side, mom's side. And I was looking at connecting with my family members more. All right, guys, this is where the catch is. The pandemic has made me realize at a very deep level that they don't care about me.
Oh my gosh. And we're like intently, waiting for her.
I mean, because that was one of my goals, to connect with them, to be like, okay, guys, I've been here for a while. I've been in Impal for a while. I didn't reach out to you. I really want to be the big sister that I was supposed to be. I want to reach out to you guys. And then, boom, I realized that they don't really want that.
They don't care.
Which is a blessing in a way. Like, so the pandemic, even though it has shown a lot of harsh, truths and realities, I also see that as a blessing, because so many good things have come out of this. Realizing that your family and your close friends who you think are close are not necessarily the people who love you. There are people who are not related to you who love you, who check up on you. I don't think, like, my family hardly, I'm not talking about my immediate family here. I'm talking about my cousins who I really wanted to connect with and, reconnect with them, say that I know I've been here for a while. I've adjusted enough. Let's get together. Let's meet often. And honestly, they don't care, and learning that truth also threw my personal goals out of the window. I had to rework everything. And I think that's why the second half of this year has been a little hard for me, because it's like reworking everything, rewriting everything. And also with that truth in mind that, all right, so let me see, who are the people who care? So that's why I'm able to really, when I was talking about that Can You Hear Me podcast, like our very first Empowered series episode, this was one of the things I meant, Your cousins don't want to hear about it. They don't want to share love with you. Give love and share love where people actually want it,
Yeah.
So huge lessons, kind of hurtful, but it's good.
But now you're laughing at it. Yeah, you're laughing about it. So, but yeah, oh my gosh, it's like you were, I can't believe you're in my 2020 goals.
I know, right? And I don't even have to bother one bit that they would ever stumble upon this podcast, because they don't care.
But hey, I would say now you have a clear vision and you have the answers. So now you can shift your energy and use it to the people who really matters and appreciate you, your presence, your energy, and also your knowledge and your smiles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Dandi always do this to me. She's amazing.
Yeah, one thing I really love that I picked up from that episode of Can You Hear Me is that take your energy somewhere else where you are appreciated, where people are willing to listen to you, and actually listen to what you're saying, appreciate what you can do, appreciate your skills and talents. Because otherwise, it's like you will always have a heart. Okay, there goes the airplane. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I had to mute it because we're near an airport. I mean, like a small airport. That's like, ah, I hope it won't happen again in this episode. Yeah, but going back, it's like, yeah, that's one of the most important things that I really picked up, and I will never forget that. Because if you keep on spending your time and your effort to those who won't even appreciate or even look at you or even hear what you're trying to say, it's like you're always putting yourself for a heartache, for a heartbreak, for those people who won't really care. So it's like, but sometimes I get you, it gets frustrating because even if we say that, okay, I won't spend time anymore, but still you were like, it's like you still check from time to time.
Is there hope?
Yeah.
Is there a
It's like
second
after
glance?
2 days or 1 week, still nothing? Okay. And then after another week, nothing? It's like, why are we so hard-headed? Why are we still trying?
I think it's the hopefulness, the hope that we have that people change, times change. I mean, look at us. I've changed so much because of the pandemic. I've changed so much because of my interactions with you lovely ladies, individually, personally, and as a group.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just amazing that it's okay. I think Danica and me, we do text each other a lot, and like we send each other voice messages, and she always encourages me and empowers me to be like the best version of myself every day. So if I'm like feeling low, she doesn't shame me for it. She's like, okay, it's all right. And then bam, she'd say something that would like make me so strong and empowered, and I'll be like, yes, I am going to feel that today and take that with me this week.
Yeah, because we need that. We need someone to remind us that we're awesome and you're not so bad. Sometimes, of course, you can't help but complain and that, why am I like this? Why am I sloppy? Why am I feeling this? Sometimes you ask yourself, and it's good that you check on yourself, like you question yourself from time to time. From time to time, okay, fuck this airplane. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
It's okay to question yourself from time to time. It's because it's like, okay, maybe I can do better. I can push myself a little more. But if you question yourself like all the time and you don't trust yourself, sometimes we need an extra help, an extra push, right? Like from other people, from our family, and those who really believe in what we can do. And not just telling those things just because we will shut up, to shut us up. Because there are some who would say, they would say hollow compliments. Oh, so nice. It was like, oh yeah, it's so nice, but not even looking at you. So, it's a fake compliment, those types. So, yeah.
You just have to keep in mind that what you're doing it because you want to be happy. So even if you think that what you're doing, it's not enough, just keep in mind that you're doing this because it makes you happy. Whether it's going right or not, for the moment, you will be happy eventually. Yeah. And it does. You will have those moments where you think, I am so glad I'm doing this because that's what I wanted, So keeping in mind that the reason you're doing this is for happiness. Well, that's my practice. Let's put it that way. That's the way I practice it. I'm doing this because it makes me happy. And that's why I keep moving forward. And this lockdown actually taught me not to waste time, and hoping that those kind of people who said, oh, I will come to your classes. I always want to come to your classes, but this happened, and then they will go quiet. During the lockdown, everyone was at home. And same as Patricia, we were doing classes for free. And these kind of people, they never showed up. So that was my lesson. Don't waste your time on them. When there are so many other people who wish they could get these virtual knowledge, classes, learning, skills, whatever, who wish they know about us.
again, put it or, bring it somewhere else where people will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think I have no, I actually have an episode for this. It was the start of season 3, I think. When 2020 started, I put up an episode about my 2020 plans. And of course, it's not that I'm giving excuses, but of course, the pandemic really is a factor on how things went for like at least from January until August. I declared my 2020 to be the year of podcasting, which is out of all the plans that really is like it materialized. It was like I just want to be consistent. I just want to put up episodes, but I didn't realize that, oh my God, it's going to be those meaningful episodes and I'm going to meet people. It's like because I've been doing the show like all by myself. I'm talking all by myself, producing episodes, but because again of the pandemic, it's like, oh my gosh, it took a different turn. I discovered a lot of things that I can showcase on the show. I met people, I'm interviewing people, and now I have this. I have the Empowered series. I have incredible women guesting on my show, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Like even so for me, even if some of my plans didn't happen, like being a morning person, I try so hard. But I just can't be a morning person. It's really hard for me. Like I can wake up 10, 11 in the morning, but I can stay like wee hours. That's me. I've been like that for how many years? So I think I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up that plan of be a morning person. The plan to do more yoga and workout, because last year I enrolled in a gym. Again, here comes my excuses. I've been so busy. Because the thing with me is like, once you give me work that I really like, I can't stop myself. Like even it's already 1 in the morning, I will continue doing it, creating content. Because for me, I'm very, like my creative juices, once it's there, I can't stop. I just can't stop. That's why my husband said, that's your problem. You don't know when to stop. But for me, if I stop, like I'm in the middle of doing something and I stop, it's like suddenly, what happened to my idea? It's gone. It's gone. It's like,
Yeah.
this is your fault. So it's like I will end up saying, don't talk to me, please, not now. I was like, not now.
Exactly. You will lose your inspiration. You need that.
It's like, please don't talk to me. Can I just talk to you later? I was like, I'm really like that. I'm really crazy at times. But for me, if the idea is there, I need to grasp it right at that moment. Otherwise, I will forget it. That's why sometimes, right, Patricia, I would send her 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, because maybe I'm lying down and then an idea comes up and I was like, okay, please read us tomorrow, but this is a topic that I want us to have on Empowered, blah, blah. She was like, okay, sweetie, you should sleep now, okay? Sleep now.
I was just going to say that's my reply. Shouldn't you be asleep now? Okay, you should sleep now. Okay, good topic. I love it. Go to sleep. That's usually my responses to her messages.
Yeah, because it's around 12 midnight. It's 3 a.m. my time. So imagine it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Because I usually have my notes and like, okay, these are the topics that I want. Because I can't go out without a memo pad and a pen or my phone because I have to take note of everything. So yeah, I guess. Oh, the last one is limit my social media use, because I feel like social media it's eating us up. On my personal social media, I think I was successful of not using it too much because I'm not posting the way I was posting before, like almost every day, like 5 times a day. But now, like the way I use my social media is for my professional reason. Because now I'm doing, like, I have my side projects. But the good thing is at least I am earning while using it. But it's really not something that I'm just doing just because, just because I want likes or I want follows or I want people to see me, as this person and all. Because I feel that there is really a purpose on why I'm using my social media. And it's work. it's work. It's for my show. It's for my client. So I think I'm happy that I at least at age 36 I realized now, okay, so now I understand the use of social media. Those are my 2020 plans, and but still I'm thankful because, well, again, like you said, girls, this pandemic made us realize who are the people who really care, who really, look after you and check on you. Hey, what's up? How are you? How's everything in your end? And to be honest, less than 10 people checked on me.
Yep.
Like, even if Singapore is doing good in handling the pandemic, still, it's really good to have people check on you from time to time, especially when you don't post so much. It's like, okay, you post a lot, they don't respond, they don't check on you. You don't post a lot, they still don't check on you. It's like you said, maybe they just don't care.
I agree. And I think one of the biggest growth for me has been about not really bothering about other people's, opinions or attention. I think that has happened to me over this time, because at the beginning of the year, I did care a lot about social media. You were talking about social media. I did care about, like, who were the likes, what are the kind of comments I was getting. And I knew it from before. I think like from last year, I always tried to have like content, and I'm like, okay, when people like appreciate you or compliment you, I'm like, okay, that's okay, but I'm looking for more, like when you write a question, like how many people actually reply to the question in your caption? They
That's the
always
thing.
talk about your hair looks so nice in this, this outfit is so nice, I love this, the color combination in this picture and stuff like that. But I really wanted to have more of that kind of if I have a question in the caption, like reply to that question, or DM me your thoughts on some things I've written there. And I think I was able to achieve that so far this year. But in the beginning of the year, I should say I was a little bit filmsy. I did want like more likes. I wanted people to give more compliments. And I realized that wasn't going anywhere. It didn't help my business in any way, directly or indirectly. It didn't help me serve anyone in any way, directly or indirectly. And I noticed that changing up the content and restricting what I'm posting, maybe if I had like a private account and then I posted whatever shit I wanted there, it's okay. But having this account, and it's like a business account, I really need to be careful about what I'm posting here. And I want it to be always about how it can help others or how it can serve or empower people, rather than having that mindset of, how many likes am I going to get on this? So I really thank you for bringing that thing up about the social media, because I didn't have it as a written goal, but it was some of the things that was in my mind about not being so conscious about how many likes I get. And in fact, I have become very poor in responding. Okay, so now I'm like, okay, let me rewrite the goal and be like, in September, I am going to reply to every comment I get, because I'm so poor at this, you guys.
I think it's important to reply, Pat.
Thank you.
We need to, what I wanted to say is that some of our plans might have not happened, and sometimes we think that we failed. It's not really failed. I mean, the whole world just stopped, so we had our lessons different ways. We did not expect this for sure, but let's just take these lessons as the right way towards a victory, to what we want to achieve.
I think out of all the years, 2020 is like the year of self-awareness and mental health awareness, because, oh my gosh, staying at home, not being able to do the things that you usually do, it takes a lot of mental strength, to understand that, okay, I should not be selfish, because anything that I do might, put other people's at risk. So I would like to agree to what Danica said, that whether those things happened or you're in the middle of, achieving those things, there are other ways to do it. There are other ways to execute your plans. And if it really didn't happen this year, maybe next year. And let's not be so hard on ourselves, the world stop. Recession is happening. It's like we're forced to go back to the basic. Try to stop and slow down a little and appreciate what you have. And but it should not also be an excuse to slack down,
Oh,
because there are
exactly.
so many things that you still can do when even if you're working at home, or even if you're stuck. Let's use the word stuck, because that's how some people are feeling. They are stuck at home. There are
Yeah,
so
but
many ways.
so I guess one good practice would be to shift the mindset in a way to just brace yourself, be prepared that we don't know what's coming up. So whatever it's good or bad, just brace yourself, and then prepare yourself to have a backup plan. So right, you did not manage to do something, then do it in another way. There's that quote where it says, if your goal does not work, then change the way you are working, not your goal.
Thank
I
you,
love that.
Dandy.
I love what you ladies spoke about and said just now, and it's so important to focus and look at the lessons that are being learned during this pandemic, and not sulk about it. I think for me so far, one of the lessons I've personally applied is to choose your own happiness, to choose your to choose to stay on track. I mean, I bought this water bottle, you guys, in 2014. It says choose to be happy, and I'm like, I didn't know that this would be like 2020 goals. Choosing to be happy is huge. And as you ladies were just talking about making these choices and talking about how we were expecting 2020 to be, I also thought about this. When we thought we were happy, were we really happy, or were we distracted? Right? Like when I'm taking care of my mental health, was I taking care of my mental health being aware that I need to be mentally healthy, or was I just trying to go out, have coffee, interact with my friends to forget about what I'm going through? And instead of dealing with that, instead of sitting and getting awareness and meditating and focusing on who I am, why am I here, using those opportunities as distractions, that's what came to my mind, ladies. So when we are stuck at home, what is the biggest thing that is happening to us? We cannot use distractions. And that is what's happening to most of us, I guess. We do not know what to do. We're freaking out because all the times that we tried to cope with our mental health was using distractions and not really using the right way or the right path towards taking care of ourselves and towards becoming more aware of ourselves. So for me, waking up in the morning, telling myself, today I'm going to choose to be happy. And if I'm sad or angry or frustrated or irritated, I'm going to acknowledge that. I'm going to be aware of that. And I'm going to say, I'm still going to choose to be happy. So that's just something that, has been happening. Also, ladies, I've said this before, Roma, especially on the, Empowered series. Every time Roma gives a topic, that week is challenge week, okay? So if we talk about self-awareness, the week will always be about how I need to be more aware of myself. If it's about meditation, oh gosh, that week about meditation was the hardest week for meditation.
That's why she was so afraid when we were doing the rejection episode. It's like, oh my God, Roma, I might be rejected this week.
I know. I was like, it's gonna happen anytime. It's gonna happen anytime, And it's okay, because as we spoke about it in the episode, that those rejections always led to better things. Like, look at where we are now. So this week has also been one of that. I was like, reflecting on what 2020 was supposed to be and what it has become so far. And I'm not mad, ladies.
That's
honestly
good.
I'm not mad, because there is so much personal growth. There are people who genuinely love me and care for me, and the people who I thought that loved me and cared for me don't really, and that's okay. It's better to learn the truth now than like later, trying so hard. Imagine I tried so hard all of 2020 and realized it much later.
than
Bummer.
living in a lie, trying to. It's harder to convince yourself that those people care, just not showy when it comes to their support. But the thing is, if they're not supporting you, most likely, if you don't feel the support, most likely they don't. Well, at
You
least
know,
for me.
when you have that second voice in your mind sometimes, when you think,
Yes.
So right now Patricia, she's making me think your time has been saved.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. That's true. It's like, okay, at least you spend it much better than last year. I don't know, last year, or and you're much happier. You have less negative energies with you, right?
Absolutely.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
sitting at home and facing them, getting more awareness of who I am and why I'm having these emotions. Why am I thinking this way? Instead of going out there and being like, okay, I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to distract myself by inviting a couple of my friends for coffee and let's deal with it another day. All right, what if 2020 was the plan all along? For a time to face all of our distractions, a time to face everything that we've been running away from.
Yeah.
This is it.
It's like you were forced, right? You don't have anywhere else to go. You have to do this now. 2020, you do it. You do it this year. It's like,
guys, whoever's listening in right now, I want you guys to let us know. Is that what you're going through? The same thing as you're listening to this? Just let us know. Comment or DM us or anything like that.
Like, guys, think about what did you gain from this lockdown? Is it a win to you that you actually had the time to reflect on yourself, do the things you love? Or have you been just sitting at home, waiting, binging on eating, watching one movie or series one after the other, just hoping till this is going to end soon, but at the same time you're still stuck in the same place, stuck in the same lifestyle, stuck in the same relationship, stuck in the same job, when you actually had the time to think, to look, to search on the internet. I mean, come on, there's so much information on the internet and solutions and anything. You can just learn anything. So which one was it that you guys have done?
You know what they said, that this lockdown is like, if you didn't even learn or develop a skill, it's a proof that it's not that you don't have the time, it's that you are lazy. That's what they say. I mean, I heard it somewhere, because it's been like what, months, and you have the choice to actually pick up a skill or do something, or even cook your own meal if you're not cooking your meals, right? So it's a skill. Cooking is a life skill. I just want to add, before we end this episode, I've realized that when the lockdown happened, I realized how small my circle is, like really, really small compared to the other people that I know. Like, oh my gosh, they have a lot of friends. And then I realized my family is so small, like my connections are so small. But then when I had a chance to go and be part of a certain community, like a big community, I was overwhelmed, because I feel that, okay, this is going to be another struggle for me, because those are strangers who I will be sharing my story and everything, and I'm not sure if we will have a genuine friendship. To be honest, I was faced like, should I embrace that, or should I stick to my intimate circle? And then after a few weeks, I decided, no, I will stick with my intimate circle. That's because I feel that at least I know them really well. They really care for me, because I felt way back that you are with a crowd but you still feel alone. I'm always looking for something that's genuine, the relationship that you will have with that person, the connection that you will have. I want to meet people that I can have or establish connection with, like genuine friendship, real connection, and all the people who will motivate me, like you and Dani and my small number of friends and my small family. I realized that I don't need to have a lot of people and followers, to be honest. As long as if I ask them, they will give time to respond to me, to check up on me. So that's one thing that I learned and realized this 2020.
The fulfillment.
Yes. So before we end this episode, do you have anything else in closing that you would like to share to our listeners? Danny?
Well, since me and Patricia are into fitness, I would like to mention this as a joke. We used to meet so many people when we used to tell them, like, you should come to my class, and they would tell you, I don't have time to work out. But then we had the lockdown, so you've got all that time in your hand, my friend. What happened now?
You're busted!
Yeah. No, on another note, I just want to say that, guys, if your plans did not go as you wanted this year, it's okay. Just keep pushing, keep trying. The time that we have during the lockdown, just make use of it to actually plan well and put in the time, and also prepare a backup plan. We have the time for that now. We still have the time because there are still some restrictions going on. Mm-hmm. So we still have the time to work on that.
Thank you, Danny. And Patricia?
Just what DANICA said. I'm just going to say it again, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is listening here. It is not too late to start again. It is not too late to begin again. So what if 2020 so far has been a flop? It's all right. It's okay. We still have the rest of September, October, November, and December. Well, unless you're listening to this podcast much later, then I can't say for that. But if you are listening to this now, please, please, please believe in yourself that you can still achieve everything that you are meant to achieve. And everything is just waiting for it to happen. Just as DANICA said, you do not change the goal, you change the journey or the path to the goal. So be empowered, be encouraged.
Thank you, Patricia. Maybe this 2020 things didn't happen. Think of it as a redirection. If your goals didn't happen this year, keep it on your list and then add it on your 2021 goals, But what's important right now is you live with the moment, protect yourself, have that self-awareness, and be sure that you keep tabs and inform the person that you love and care for. You let them know that you're there. I think that's it for us today, ladies. Thank you once again, Dandi. And can you please invite them to follow your Instagram and Facebook page? Or if you have girls, I understand you have classes going on right now this September. Can you please invite them to join you?
Right. So I'm doing classes starting on Monday and Wednesday and Fridays. The classes, they will be live and virtual, and they will happen at 7 p.m. Central European time, but they will also be available for 24 hours in case anyone misses them because, different time zones or work. So you guys can get in touch with me on Instagram, on Facebook, Dandivation. And I also have a website, so www.dandivation.com, and you can contact me there as well.
What about you, Patricia? Do you have anything do you have any happenings in your area, or you have any classes? Please invite them also.
Thank you, Roma. So I'm not able to have physical classes yet at this time. For the whole of September, I will be virtual, very similar to DANICA, but they're all at India time. So if anyone else would like to join my classes from the other parts of the world, DM me. We'll work the time zones out. I'm having classes at 6:30 a.m., 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. all in India time, Mondays to Fridays. Saturdays and Sundays are rest days or chat days, whatever you guys like. And also Sundays specifically for Empowered Series Day. So I would love for you guys to join us, DM DANICA or me to try our classes. We have everything available, all fun stuff, and I can't wait to see you all.
All right. Thank you so much, Pat. And there goes another episode of Empowered, brought to you by the Roma Miclat podcast. We wish you have a great week. And until our next episode, let's say it all together, girls. Bye.